we've seen in 2021. A pastor came to the rescue by tackling a man who pulled out a gun in his church. A Sunday worship service was underway at Nashville Light Mission Pentecostal Church when authorities say a 26-year-old man walked onto the pulpit brandishing a gun and told everyone to stand up. Pastor Ezekiel Ndikumana bravely sneaked up behind the suspect, tackling him to the ground. Church members rushed in to help, taking away the gun and holding the suspect until authorities could arrive. He's been charged with 15 counts of felony aggravated assault and was ordered to undergo a psychiatric evaluation. This 11-year-old girl had to save herself when a kidnapper allegedly tried to take her as she was waiting for the school bus in Florida. Terrifying video shows the girl patiently waiting all alone when a car pulls up and a man gets out and runs over to her. Authorities say he had a knife and grabbed onto the girl, dragging her. But this brave child fought back, getting the alleged kidnapper to drop her and drive off. The defendant has pleaded not guilty to kidnapping, aggravated assault, and battery, and his bond was set at $1.5 million. A man tried to stop an alleged arsonist by knocking a Molotov cocktail out of the suspect's hand after he allegedly set fire to a deli. The terrifying scene took place in Brooklyn, New York. A camera caught the suspect outside the deli igniting the explosive device before throwing it inside the store. Video from inside shows how the bottle exploded and quickly engulfed the store in flames. The people inside ran for their lives. More video from the outside shows the suspect lit another Molotov cocktail, but before he could throw it, a man knocked it out of his hands and it exploded on the sidewalk. The FDNY says no one was killed, but one person suffered non-life-threatening injuries. A suspect was arrested and is awaiting arraignment on multiple charges, including arson, assault, and reckless endangerment. Remember when this alligator trainer almost got eaten? 31-year-old Lindsay Bull was trying to get Darth Gator to back up, but he bit onto her hand and then wanted the rest of her.
We got trouble in here!
Terrified children looked on as Lindsay rolled with the gator, trying to free herself from its grip. Then, a dad intervened and jumped into the tank to help her.
He's just the greatest. Even with a lot of training, it takes a lot of courage to get in there and do that. And I mean, he did not hesitate.
Lindsay has had surgery to repair her hand, but the experience certainly didn't sour her love of animals. And who could forget this gator fighting hero? A man came up with a genius way of ridding an alligator from his property by trapping it in a garbage can.
Hey, let me know when they ain't going inside. Let me know.
The gator hissed as this fearless dad, Eugene Bozzi, cornered it and then lured it into the garbage can by throwing the lid down. But this gator wasn't going quietly. Bozzi struggled to lift the can upright as the gator was still thrashing around inside. But once it was securely inside, Bozzi carted it about 400 feet away to a nearby pond and released it back to nature. In May, a little girl got the scare of her life while playing in the waves. That's a shark in the shallow water, which caught little Anella and her mom completely by surprise.
She was running out of the water, yelling there was a shark in the water, so I dropped my phone immediately and I was just like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Experts say the shark that bumped her was likely a black-tipped shark. They feed on fish in shallow water. Normally timid, they can become aggressive if they think a hand or a foot is a fish to eat. Fortunately, Anella wasn't hurt, just a little shaken.
You're scary.
A jet skier tempted fate and got a biting lesson from a shark in Australia. The daredevil spotted a 10-foot bull shark in the water and decided to do circles around it. But this beast wasn't having it and showed this human who's boss by sinking its teeth into his watercraft. Hopefully the teeth marks it left behind will be a lesson for this guy not to play with nature. Another terrifying animal encounter happened in North Carolina, where a couple was attacked by a rabid bobcat in their own driveway.
It bit down on my left hand, and then within a few seconds, it just crawled right up my back.
The woman's husband jumped into action. You can see him carry the predator and then fling it.
Get him! Get him! Get him!
I decided to sling it as far as I could.
He also took out a pistol and shot it, hitting it in the shoulder. The couple were each bitten several times and had to undergo extensive vaccinations after the animal was found to be rabid.
It's the scariest thing I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Hart stopped on a highway in Kansas when this Jeep got struck by lightning. Inside were Nathan and Sarah Vanderhoof and their 3 daughters, who were all uninjured by the bolt.
It's one of those things you look back at and you think, how did I survive that?
Their family vehicle was not so lucky.
It's probably done.
This vehicle was struck by something else, lumber. The unsecure wood beam flew off a passing pickup truck on a highway in Ohio and went right through the windshield of a car. It narrowly missed the driver and passenger. Luckily, no one was injured. This toy terrorized a household when it went up in flames. A hoverboard that had been charging overnight started smoking and then exploded, according to the family. It sent little Anthony running for safety, but he crossed in front of the device just as it was exploding. Fortunately, he wasn't injured, but Mom Tamalisa says the whole ordeal was terrifying.
Sheer panic. I mean, just panic. You don't ever think that's going to happen to you.
Miraculously, no one died when a plane crashed in Long Island, New York. Watch as the small craft drops from the sky, belly flopping near a waste treatment facility. Amazingly, the pilot was conscious and told rescuers he didn't want to be airlifted to a hospital.
Said, you know what, I've just been in a plane crash. I don't want to go in a helicopter now. So they transported him by ground.
The entire city of Paris would have had a collective heart attack if this stunt went awry. Tightrope artist Nathan Powlin walked between the Eiffel Tower and the Chaillot Theater, over 229 feet above ground. Crowds gathered to watch, and once Powlin was at ease on the tightrope, he started to perform tricks. Powlin calls himself a highliner and holds 10 world records. He says he finds true inner peace when walking a tightrope, despite making onlookers uneasy until his walk is successfully completed. And a young British free climber had his own heart-stopping moments on purpose. Daredevil George King scaled a skyscraper in the Spanish city of Barcelona using nothing more than his bare hands. King drew a crowd as he climbed the 380-foot-tall hotel. They watched as he climbed and climbed and climbed. Police and firefighters on the ground also watched the unauthorized stunt. When King reached the summit, he spread his arms in triumph to applause. And when he reached sea level again, he was arrested.